Hi folks, I have to correct a statement I made in my last video on the Smith&Wesson 745 pistol. In that video I said that the model 645 Smith&Wesson was the first ever handgun that the Smith&Wesson company had chambered for the 45 ACP cartridge. That statement was incorrect. What I meant to say was the 645 was the first semi-automatic handgun that Smith&Wesson had ever chambered for the 45 ACP cartridge. Because there is a handgun that they have chambered for the 45 ACP cartridge that goes all the way back to 1917, almost 100 years ago. They started chambering one of their handguns for the 45 ACP, and that handgun in its modern day iteration is known as the Model 625 pistol. As you can see, it is one of their large frame double action revolvers. As I said a moment ago, the history of the Model 625 goes all the way back to 1917. In those days, as the U.S. military was building up for its entry into World War I, there were not enough of the then new 1911 pistols for distribution to the troops. So the U.S. government contracted with both Smith&Wesson and Colt to manufacture their large frame revolvers chambered for the 45 ACP cartridge. That was the very beginning of chambering that particular cartridge in the Smith&Wesson large frame revolvers. And it is carried through all the way until today. There are still several variations of the Model 625 that you can find in the Smith&Wesson catalog. The 625 maintains all of the characteristics typically associated with a Smith&Wesson double-action revolver. It has an adjustable sight. It is a double-action in the traditional sense, meaning that you can fire the revolver either by one long stroke of the trigger, which will both cock and release the hammer, or you can fire it by cocking the hammer manually and then squeezing a very short trigger stroke, which will release the hammer and discharge the revolver. Also, the 625 uses a rather ingenious device called a full moon clip. The full moon clip is designed to hold all of the cartridges for insertion into the chamber individually so that they can be chambered as a unit. One of the nice things about the rather short, stubby 45 ACP cartridges is they drop into the chambers very easily. So loading the 625 revolver is as easy as dropping the loaded clip into the cylinder and closing it, and you now have a loaded pistol. It's actually faster than using a speed loader because you don't have to use any kind of a release device to get the cartridges to fall into the chambers. Similarly, when you eject the cartridges, they eject as a unit, and you're now ready to reload the next one and continue firing. Very, very quick loads and reloads with a full moon clip. As far as actually firing the 625 goes, as you can see, it has a heavy, even with the 4-inch barrel, heavy barrel and a full underlug to give a good muzzle-heavy feel to this revolver, and what that does is counteract that recoil from the 45 ACP cartridge to help keep you on target and get you on target quicker. The 625 works very, very well with the 45 ACP. You get power that's actually a little greater than the standard 45 special, or excuse me, the standard 44 special cartridges. And you get all the benefits that I just mentioned a moment ago about the full moon clip. There is one very slight drawback to using the 45 ACP in the double action revolver, and in fact it's so slight that I hesitate to mention it, but I decided to include it in this video just so everyone has full disclosure. When you use the 45 ACP in the double action revolver, you use a little bit of the propellant gas from the barrel cylinder gap. This means you'll get a little less velocity out of a revolver on the bullet than you will with a similar barrel length semi-automatic pistol. Again, it is so slight, and particularly at defensive distances, I don't know that it's going to make any difference whatsoever, but if you're chronographing and you notice out of your revolver you're not getting quite the velocity that you do, or quite the velocity that is listed in the reloading manual for that length of barrel, there's a good chance it's because you're losing a little bit of that velocity from the escaping gases in the barrel cylinder gap.
Okay folks, we've changed venues from the house to the range. We're going to do a little bit of shooting with the 625 and see just what kind of performance you can expect from this type of revolver. Okay, folks, I'm no Jerry Michalek, but this revolver definitely shoots very, very well. We'll take a look at the target here in just a second, and you can see exactly how well it does in my hands. By the way, this is the first shooting I've done with anything chambered for a 45 ACP since I had my hand surgery. And it went very, very well. No additional pain, no problem shooting. Let's take a look at the target. My first 6 shots are all right here. That's about an 1.5 inch group from 20 feet, fired offhand. Pulling them just slightly to the right. Might need to make a slight sight adjustment, which with my adjustable sights is very, very simple. But again, very respectable group from 20 feet firing offhand. Backing off and starting to fire the double action shots. My very first shot, I pulled a little low down here. Still in the lower chest, not a bad shot, but that was the only one that I pulled a little bit low until I reacclimated myself a little bit with the double action trigger pull, and then everything else, all those other 11 shots are right in here. Most of them are right on that orange spotter target, right dead center in the chest. This is exactly what you can expect from a 625 revolver, and again, you get all the advantages of the 45 ACP and all the reliability of a wheel gun with the Model 625. Hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you like more videos like this, please subscribe. And other than that, y'all have a good day and good shooting. Bye-bye.